at Rockport Fulton High School, and Miss Marlott told me to just come up here and tell y'all a little bit about me and the things I've done and my future plans. So, like she said, I'm a senior in high school, and I've lived in Rockport since I moved here halfway through my kindergarten year, so pretty much all my life, all that I can remember at least. So I've done a lot of things and been very blessed to do a lot of great things in the community of Rockport Fulton. Like most high school kids, I participated in sports. I play football. I played a little bit of basketball my freshman and sophomore year, and I participate in track. We actually have the district track meet today at 5 o'clock at the high school. So I'll be participating and competing in that after this. But as well as athletics, which isn't the only part of my life, I've competed in several academic events. As she said, she heard about me through a friend of hers. That friend was Suzanne Ransleben, and I competed in the National History Fair. And for those of you who don't know what the National History Fair is, it's a competition kind of similar to a science fair, but there's 5 categories. There's documentary, theatrical performance, a paper, a big trifold science board that would be like, and those are all in group forms, so you can either do it individually or group. And I did the performance and individual category, and I did that my 8th grade and my junior years. So what they do is they give you a category at the beginning of the year, and then you take, so mine was rights and responsibilities, and you take a theme or event in history and you match it to that theme, and then I did a theatrical performance. So I did the German immigration into Texas and the only lasting peace treaty between Indians and the white folk. That was in Fredericksburg, Texas, and at that time, whenever there was the immigration, the Indians obviously controlled all of Texas, or at least they thought so. That's where their homeland. They didn't want to move, and the Germans wanted to move into Texas, and so they got a land grant, from the state of Texas to go into the area in and around Fredericksburg, which was the most heavily populated with Indians at the time. And so John Moisenbach, which was the character who I portrayed, he went in to the Indians and made a peace treaty with them, and he ensured that it was a lasting one, and they never broke it between the Indians. Never officially, at least. There was always a couple of single Indians who wanted to raid the village or whatnot, but it was never on a full-scale situation, and it is still recognized as the only lasting peace treaty. And so through that competition, I went through the Coastal Bend region, and then I went to the state competition, and I ended up advancing to the national competition and placing 11th in the nation in that competition. Yeah, so that was always, that was one of my greatest achievements in high school and throughout education. So as I've come to do that, I have, I guess, got a grasp for presenting, because when I was at the national level, I presented in front of 300 people in a large room where it was just all of their eyes on me, and I had to perform. And throughout all the practice with Miss Ransleben and a bunch of different people, just presenting in front of them and doing that presentation numerous times, I got comfortable, and not just doing that presentation, but comfortable in front of people. So that leads me into my next, my future. I want to go to Texas A&M next year, and I want to major in marketing and minor in sports management, and I want to help. As I was talking to Ms. Probst, I kind of want to look into a sports management minor and work in the front office of a sports team, whether that be minor league, major league, or even collegiate affiliated. And I think I'd like to do either in the selling portion or the advertising portion, and since I feel pretty comfortable in front of people presenting information, I feel like that is something that could be right up in my alleyway. Also, like I said, I do like sports, so I don't really want to get away from that, so that's kind of the portion of that. Also, another reason for me wanting to do that is a project that I had in sophomore year, where we were given the task of selling the printing press. So what we did was we created a presentation of the printing press, everyone in the class, and then we presented it in front of the class, and whoever did the best presentation or got the people in the audience to want to buy it the most was awarded with the highest grade and subsequently down from there. And obviously the teacher had some input on that, but mostly it was on peer review. And I did relatively well on that that assignment, and I really enjoyed the assignment. It was fun to create the presentation and try and sell it to all my peers. So just off of my base, that's where the idea or the want to work in sports management and advertising and marketing comes from. Well, like I said, I'm going to A&M. Not just, I love A&M. I went there, been to a couple games, and I love the atmosphere. And I've been there when there's not college football on Saturday, and the atmosphere is still great for me. So that's my pull to A&M. So yes, that's all I have really. Is there any questions for any of you? Yes, sir.
What got you started on the history piece in Fredericksburg?
Well, the actual part in Fredericksburg was Miss Ranslaven. She knew a little bit about that, and she knew what had happened just from her knowledge, and she said, Logan, I'd like for you to do some research on this and see if it fits the topic, fits the theme, can we fit it in? And that's the biggest part of History Fair, is relating whatever you choose to do to the topic and theme of History Fair. And we ended up finding that was a great topic for what the theme was that year, and we fit it in perfectly.
Where did you go to get the information then?
We actually took a couple trips to Fredericksburg. There's a Pioneer Museum there, but also, I mean, the internet had a lot of great information, and there was a couple of books written by, one book specifically that I remember reading that was written by John Moisenbach's great-great-granddaughter. So I read that book, and it was the retelling of his stories and how that happened. So I used that book, a couple of internet researches, and actually going to Fredericksburg.
What years did that take place?
The actual immigration?
The treaty and everything?
1856, I want to say, around there. I mean,
Civil War time?
Yeah, a little bit before the Civil War. So, but
Here's a question.
yes.
I want to congratulate you for being such a well-spoken young man. You need to consider sales. I'm very serious, and I'm not trying to deter your goals, but you're going to get some great opportunities. I certainly appreciate what you said to us today.
Thank you, sir.
Logan, what events do you run in track?
Yesterday I competed in the long jump and triple jump, and today I will compete in the 110 hurdles, the 300 hurdles, and the 4x1 relay.
Wow.
You got a full day.
Yes.
I ran those same races, so I know what you're up against.
Thank you so much for letting me come today.